all been there. We have all been there. Finding the first aerial class and the second aerial class and the fourth aerial class and every aerial class being quite hard sometimes to really nail some move, gain the strength for it, and not understanding what to do to actually find that strength so we can get those moves and really become better at our performance during aerial classes. So hello, I'm Ophélie. If you don't know me, I'm your favorite holistic coach, and I'm also an aerial coach. I teach multiple aerial classes across London, and I'm also an international coach. So this is why you may be in another country and know about me. So today we are going to discuss the 3 training secrets to becoming a stronger aerialist. And those are very simple, but very easy to follow. And also this is a very short episode. So this podcast or vlog, whether you're listening or watching, will be very short, quick and concise, so it's nice and easy to digest for you, and you can go off and just be your badass, the usual badass, the one that you want to become and the beautiful aerialist that you wish to be. So the 3 points that we're going to approach, number 1 is to train more frequently, number 2 is to focus on quality rather than quantity, and number 3 is combining performance with conditioning strategies. Training more frequently, obviously that may sound like a chore, but it is not. So where we can approach the training frequency is not to add excessive volume to your training, is to plan and be as smart as possible. So obviously if you're watching this episode, that means that you are going to a certain amount of aerial classes. Whether you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4 and doing other classes, going to the gym or not, this is very easy to implement. So obviously if you go to one aerial class only, it will be quite hard to maximize your gains in terms of strength, okay? So you just want to try and picking a smart way that if you already have a regular gym program, you are going to just maybe add a 5 or 10 minute routine that will help gain a bit more strength. So you just want, for example, if your pull strength is not very good, what you might be doing is, if you go to the gym and do an upper body workout, you may be focusing your upper body workout on the pull strength and doing things like lat pull down, bent over rows, this sort of thing. If you already have a gym program, then you might be trying to actually integrate the element of strength that you need to increase the performance, okay? So if you need some improvement, then you want to try and plan this into your training routine. There is also the option, for example, if you take other classes, to add a very quick 10-minute workout after, before, whenever you prefer, before the class that you're taking. Obviously, if it's an aerial class or if it's already quite a strenuous class, I wouldn't excessively recommend it. But just bear in mind that even just 4 exercises, that can be 2 core exercises and 2 pull exercises, or just like core exercises that, for example, you would be doing in your warm-up. So when people come to my aerial classes, the warm-up is pretty standard. We do cardio, and then we do shoulder stability, which is a lot of planking, press ups, push, this sort of thing, just to warm up the shoulders and warm up the core. And then we do one sequence, which is just core only, so lots of ab exercises. So what you can do is, whatever you learn during your classes that you struggle with, pick that apart and practice it outside class. So if, for example, you struggle with the core aspect, or if holding the plank, then just spend 5-10 minutes doing some planks and doing some of the exercises from the warm-up that you are struggling with. That's literally all that you need to do, but you need to increase the frequency, especially if you just attend one class. If you really want to see a result, you want to try and practice the element that you feel weak at outside the classes. I hope that kind of makes sense to you, but just really add any bits that you know you are weak. Also, weak, that sounds really condescending, but where you feel you need to improve. And adding any other form of activities that may complement your training can also be a bonus. So when my student come the first time in an aerial class and they really struggle, or they just want to get stronger, my initial recommendation is to complement it with some, so I teach aerial hoop, okay? And when people want to become better at aerial hoop, I just generally recommend them to also go to aerial yoga classes, aerial Pilates classes, gymnastic conditioning, trapeze classes, the things that will help condition the body for the skills that you are trying to gain. Okay, so don't go, if you love your, WOD and CrossFit and all that, fine. But if you really want to be good at aerial hoops, you need to develop the skills that are similar. So similar movement pattern, similar use of the core. And for me, I think your best bet is to complement with classes that are encapsulated in a skill set. So the second strategy that we discussed, the second secret, is focusing on quality rather than quantity. So going back to the workouts, as I was saying, complementing with activities that encapsulates a little bit more the skill set that we're trying to build. Going to a CrossFit class is okay. You will build a strength, and that's fine. The only thing that I find a bit difficult is that in classes like this, volume is what matters, and it's fine. But the thing is, you might be also encouraging repetitive movement in the wrong alignment, and you might just kind of like start getting injured, getting a bit too much under stress. And if you get injured, you can't practice. Okay. Also, planning your training in a smart way, keeping it balanced and making sure that you cover all body training is quite important. And I know that this might not sound good to you, or that might sound a little bit boring, but resistance training can actually and actively help your strength, improve your range of motion, improve the strength. Things like squats, deadlifts, lunges, they can help with flexibility, mobility, your splits, the strength, everything that needs some active flexibility for your split shape in the hoop, for example. It's quite important to also work into a good overhead. Everything in resistance training also help with rebalances the right and the left when we always use like a strong side, for example. So this really, really helps. And I do resistance training not as a form of full workout. Like, as I was saying, I don't do CrossFit. I don't really, it's not my thing, but I'm not really spending a lot of time in training another skill set. I really spend the time designing a resistance program that will complement what I'm trying to get better at. And that's how you should be looking at it, using it as what we call accessories. Those are accessories. So my workouts are accessories exclusively, pretty much. And what I do is I plan my workout now. If I do a full hour workout, my resistance training will consist of about 30-45 minutes, and then I do a little bit of cardio, and then I'll do a 10-15 minute mobility routine. Yeah, so that's how I'm designing it, for example. You will just become a bit of a more well-rounded athlete. You reduce the risk of injury, especially when you learn more advanced moves. So the last element is not so much a secret. It's combining performance with conditioning strategy. So what we call best conditioning strategy is the same as a regular strength and conditioning program, which means we are going to use progressive overload. If you don't understand the concept of progressive overload, please go and actually read the blog about this exact topic we're discussing. It approaches how we calculate the progressive overload for our own training. It's just increasing the volume just in a very small and incremental way over the course of 4 to 8 weeks, making sure we deload in between as well, and that we kind of like progress, reach a plateau. When we reach a plateau, we deload, and then we reload, and we change the exercise plan. So the way I do it, in order for me to not lose too much of flexibility and also see some flexibility gain, because your progressive overload might be feeling that you're getting a little bit tight sometimes. So if you keep adding weights onto your squats or deadlifts or so on, you might start feeling a bit sore towards the end of the 4-6 weeks, for example. So I quite like, during my deload, do more holistic classes, for example. So I focus a bit more on yoga, Pilates, more mobility flow, stretching flow, and my training at the gym will be low weight and higher reps, for example, okay, or just low weight, and then I focus more on the holistic aspect. So this is how I do. I kind of go into progressive overload, into peaking, into strength. Then I slowly deload. I take a moment, 1 or 2 weeks, to focus exclusively on my flexibility, my yoga. I still do push-pull because obviously I teach classes, I do classes, I attend classes. But this is, for me, the way that's always worked the best and the way that's worked the best for my clients. So no matter your level, strength and conditioning will always benefit your development in aerial art. Yeah, there are just many benefits to having that kind of plan and just understanding that it just starts again with a small bit and then adding incremental. If you need to add incremental because you're just doing at home, you don't understand, you can't increase the weight, you can't increase frequency, then increase the amount of reps, increase the amount of sets, and decrease the amount of rest you are taking between your exercises. Okay, those are all way to kind of gauge the progress you're making over the course of the next weeks when you're programming your exercise. If you are still not quite sure what I'm talking about, you can read that blog on the show notes that you can find the link to, but you can also book a free coaching call with me. So if you have been struggling with reaching your aerial goals, then I'm the person to speak to, and I do this for free. So what we do is we plan a 20-minute conversation where we go through your goals and we set a plan that works for you, and then you decide if you want to keep working with me or not. We decide if we want to keep working together. But what you get out of this conversation is at least more clarity and a plan on how to follow for the next 4 to 8 weeks, and you have a better understanding and awareness of how to reach your goal and how to increase and improve your performance. I hope that you find this helpful. Please share this far and wide. I always appreciate any support. This really makes a difference, especially if you know you have other friends who are aerialists and you know would benefit from these 3 secrets in order to be stronger. We all know someone who's a complete beginner and who really wants to improve on their strength. So please make sure that you tag, you share, you send this, and that you can spread the love far and wide. I really thank you so much for coming, joining in on this episode today, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.